Hi, friends, and welcome to class. My name is Russell West, and I will be facilitating our conversation over the next 6 months, quite honestly. This is our plan. Since this is a 2 hour course, which implies that you'll do about 6 to 7 hours of work per week in order to meet the standard for this kind of program, we have to figure out how we can manage a course conversation over a 6 month period. If I were you, I'd be asking, why is this class 2 hours over two different terms? Well, it used to be a class that had a pre-seminar experience similar to the course readings and the postings that we're doing, and then an international immersion. We used to go to Korea, used to go to China, and spend about 10 days there. And the immersion experience was a part of the course content. And of course, then we'd do a post-session reflection process. But because the the prep time and the closure time fell over 2 semesters, the registrar had to build this course as two parts, 2 hours each. Well, with the public health crisis, the international travel part disappeared, but the two-part structure did not. So I'm encouraging you to take a breath, adjust your expectations as to what you thought a doctoral class is or was, and register it at the 2 hour level a week sort of thing. What I've sought to do to make this a more enjoyable experience is to create a bookshelf that you'll get familiar with over the next 6 months. There's more than what you need for reading on it. There's probably some 7,000 pages to pick from, but you only need pick 1,800s of your own choosing this term. There's a big red hot center that talks about the leader's loves, and I'm saying that we'll focus on that red hot center in both terms. You'll always be reading that. I'll always be referencing the centerpiece of that. But then you'll pick two quadrants of your own choosing. It can be in any arrangement, but focus on just two for this term. And then when we switch to next term, focus on the next two. That's our reading plan. I'll post a single prompt once per month, one per month, for the fall term, and I'll do the same for the spring term. I've selected the due dates for the assignments for this course so that they fall with a similar rhythm, giving you plenty of time for reflection and time for reporting. If we do well, this course will have a feeling of an extended examine. That's a word that comes out of Benedictine spirituality. It's an examine, a process of looking at your life with intention to answer questions. If you look up Saint Benedict and the examen process, you'll see how this process could dovetail well together. But I think this course could also serve as a process where spiritual friends become consultants to one another. We've got a lot of material that works from the inside out, and some of the out stuff goes from what you do in your practices to what you would do as a professional leading organizations. So because we're going to use a lot of case-based narrative content, you're going to be putting stuff out there that a lot of peers have had some experiences with. So none of us needs a Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It as our responses, but we can let one another know that we're not going crazy, that others have experienced this before. And based on experiences that you have, based on insight that you've gained, you can leave some lessons, drop a website, drop a blog, suggest a movie, give folks a roadmap around what they're experiencing that honors that they're down in it and that they've got to experience it. So that's sort of our setup for the next 6 months. Here's a piece that I want to revise. When I designed the course, there was a technology that the seminary used called VoiceThread. It allowed folks to post a video like I'm doing, reply to a video, reply with a document, and it was a creative tool, but it was kind of clunky to work with, and I found that I was one of about 10 professors out of 65 that was actually using it. So the seminary never really developed a way to support what was weird about that program. But they have adopted something called Canvas Studio, and it should work pretty much like the reply button, recording a video, attaching it, and posting it. So I'd like you to be able to respond to some of our reading using a video format. That's the way the world works now. A TikTok sort of world. People get on video, on screen, and they post their content. So I'd like us to experiment with that. But however, you're free to also put it in writing. What you want to focus on is about 200 words. That's about 4 or 5 paragraphs. It's about 3 or 4 minutes for a speaker. It's hard to go beyond 3 minutes listening to these kind of prompts. But you need to be mentioning 1 to 3 citations. You need to let me know that in your response, it's a critical response. You have done the reflection work, you've done the reading work, and you can demonstrate that the case that you put in front of us, the question you put in front of us, derives from someone who has read deeply from this bookshelf. End each one of your posts, whether it's in writing or spoken, visual, video-based, make sure you present an elevating question. Something that your peers can say, hey, I hear West's prompt, but also hear my colleague's prompt, and it makes me think about this literature in a particular way. Give folks homework assignments and say, hey, I found this on page 37 or I found this on page 119. Go check this out before you respond to me. But be the host of the conversation. Let's make this enjoyable. Let's develop a friendship with one another around our learning together. I look forward to meeting you in the classroom, and when we convene live, when I believe that's in Orlando, look forward to seeing you there. We'll see you in the classroom.